All right, this is Jacina Love, and it's for the love of it. But this is 50, and I mean, you already know how I am. There's nothing I do that I'm not putting I need it, it's all for the love of it. Right. Why we're here, why you've been in the game all these years.
Mickey.
Yo, this is Mickey Facts. I mean, Bronx's own.
Yes.
We go way back.
Way back.
I'm throwing numbers out. I'm talking about 2007, when heavens fall out, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Then we see 2009. I mean, this was before you even tapped in with the freshman, which I was like, ooh, I made it because I'm.
This is gonna be a good interview. Clearly, we 14 years in. This is crazy.
This is real.
Yes.
I'm so proud of what you're doing.
Thank you.
Let's bring it back
to
that freshman class.
Yeah.
That era you came in.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a really big moment.
It was monumental for a lot of different reasons.
A lot of different things. There was a lot of which I've been seeing you tapping into the interviews and getting a little fussy with all those.
Things happen.
But for all the right reasons, always. You love, again, for the love of the game.
Yes.
So let's talk about that freshman class and what that was like.
I mean, it was mind-blowing. You know, obviously, you've known about me and what I've been doing since '07. So being on the freshman cover or being on the cover of XXL wasn't even something that was on my radar. It was just, let's work. And when I got the call, it was on my birthday. I remember being in the Bronx, and I could barely move, right? Because it's like the freshman cover XXL. I've been collecting this magazine since '02.
And can I say that every single time I've interviewed you, I truly feel you're going with the flow.
Yeah.
So you saying right now you wasn't even expecting that, right? I believe it because to me, again, it's for the art and the love of it. So go ahead. Had to jump in with that.
Yeah, so, obviously at that point, I'm like, okay, well, who else is on the cover? And it was like, we can't really say too much, but right now it's just you and Wale. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Okay, cool. And then, obviously when we do the shoot, I see all these guys. I'm like, wow, like this is really happening. Like we about to shoot this cover, and all of these guys in their own right were pioneers when the game was changing. You know what I'm saying? So you got Cuddy, singing and rapping and just being emotional in his own state. You got Corey representing the Bronx, just this rapid fire MC that's just, it's like, what the hell? Like, you got B.O.B., who a lot considered the second coming of Andre, right? Like, it's just like,
that's right.
This is crazy. He's playing the guitar, and then you got Charles, who a lot of people just fell in love with because he was like supposed to be the next Kanye. Like, he was producing, he was rapping, he was putting out so many songs. You got Asher Roth. Like, it was like, what? Blue from the West Coast.
XXL. Maybe there wasn't another freshman class since that class.
They nailed it. They nailed it.
No offense to anybody.
No, there was a couple.
That was like an all-star group.
We were pioneers of what we were doing, and it's not easy being the first. But I'm glad that that I was in that class. That class was very special. Shout out to everybody that was on it: Wale, Ace Hood, myself. It was a beautiful Currency. Who's still killing.
Yeah.
This is the all-star cast.
That's
what I'm saying? All-star cast.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now we saw you in the interviews with the Drink Champs, right?
Yeah.
And we heard about the stories, and we heard what it meant to you.
Right.
And you said a little bit right now on being a part of that all-star and just not expecting it and what it meant for you. Hold on, being from New York,
Bronx.
right? And the lineup. Because that means a lot too.
Yes.
Right?
They had 2 Bronx rappers on there. It's just.
That's what I'm saying. We're like talking about it now, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's big.
That was a big deal.
Besides everything and all the talk that came from it and where you're at now,
Right.
what you learned the most? What was one thing well, I'm sure there was many things, but something you truly learned from that time?
Enjoy every moment. Live in the moment, right? Because that is a moment of success that you worked hard for to get to, and it's hard to pinpoint when that moment is going to be a part of shifting culture.
Right.
We didn't even realize what we were doing for so many younger artists and our peers who sadly didn't make the cover with us. And even the older generation who was looking at us as the torchbearers for what's to come in the hip hop culture. So we were just happy to be there, right? Like, because we were all, there wasn't really, I think Ace Hood might have been the only street rapper really on there. Everybody else built their following on the internet. So it was, we all had worldwide fan bases. So it was like this thing where it's like, this is a brand new paradigm shift for not only us, but for Double XL.
Right.
Because
Yes.
before us, right, like they had the cover before us, the other freshman cover, which was, you know, the Lupe, the Papoose, and a couple other people. But that cover, according to them, didn't sell well. So they did that in 07. So they skipped 08 because it didn't sell well. So when Daytwan Thomas, shout out to him, you know, running vibe right now, he was like, I want to do the cover over. They were like, no, because the last one didn't do, and he pushed and pushed. He was like, I'm telling you, this is going to set a different trend. And when that magazine came out, it was like a top 3 seller for that magazine. So you got to think when Dre M and 50 Cent was on the cover, and maybe like another like Eminem cover, and then our cover was like top 3 because we were tapped in with the world.
And the era of magazines.
It was still magazine era, and it was the digital world. So like, you know, some of the streets wasn't really attached to us, but we had the hearts and minds of college kids and all of the women and all of the people who just wanted to party and have a good time and worry about life. So it was a great time. I love that time so much.
Oh man, I love that you shared that with us, man.
Thank you.
Now, I have to know,
Yeah.
because you've been through years, right?
Yeah.
You've stuck to your sound.
Yes.
You've been true
I had to.
to what hip hop was to you. In the midst of, oh, hip hop is dead. Oh, this is what's selling. Oh, we could clearly see the numbers and what they're tapping into. You stood true to that, Mickey.
Yes. Yes.
Talk to us about that and the sacrifice that you put out. You put there.
I
you
mean,
put in there.
it was definitely difficult because being from New York, and you can attest to this, being from New York, hearing people say, you know, the New York is dead. Who's gonna bring New York back? Who's gonna be that titular artist that is gonna be able to do this, right? And for me, it was like, I'm gonna stick to what I know how to do because my support system enjoys what I do. I never kind of wanted to sound like anybody else, so I wanted to sound like me. And when you sound like yourself, people want to emulate that. So that was another reason why that cover meant so much to people, because we all had our own sounds. Yeah, we might have reminded you of somebody like B.O.B. and 3 Stacks, or Currency might have reminded you of Wayne, or I might have reminded you of Lupe a little bit, but it was still our sound and we were doing what we wanted to do. And then people kind of followed after that. They saw what we were doing and were like, okay, we're gonna do it the same way. We're gonna do it a little bit better. And that's the, you know, sometimes that's the nature of the game, right? You know, being the guinea pig and being the first out. Sometimes, you know, you have to, you know, put it out there for people to see and see what happens, right? And it's okay. You know, I'm just happy that because I stayed true to my sound, I'm still here 14, 15 years later. And a lot of artists can't say that. I was just having this conversation earlier. I was like, there's a lot of artists that were on the blogs with us and who were coming up after us and were there before us, and they are not here. They are not on Drink Champs. They are not with Jacina Love. They're not, you know, streaming and living off of music. I'm grateful that I'm able to still live off of this, because a lot of people don't get that opportunity. Sometimes it's 3-5 years max, and I tripled that, thankfully.
Yo, and it's that, like the quote says, you know, the real sticks, right?
Yeah, the real
The
sticks.
fake will wean itself out, right?
Right.
And you guys have stuck true to that.
Yeah.
And here we are, like you said, 14 years later, and we're
14 years
bumping to your music and the lyricism. Talk to us about the lyrical aspect of yourself. What mentality you have to be in, Mickey? Okay, this is 14 years of consistency.
Yes. You know, when I did Heaven's Fallout, it was more about the sound. It was more about the story. And once I left Jive Records in 2012, and I was kind of in limbo with my career and life, you know, the sound had to kind of go back to my roots, which was boom bap, so I could rebuild my fan base. After I quit. And I quit for like 3 months. I couldn't get a job. And that was a sign that it was like, you have to do this. This is something that you have to do. You can't work anywhere. I had no work experience. My last time working was January 17th, 2007. So you're talking to someone who was trying to get a job in 2014 and couldn't get hired anywhere. So I said, okay, well, now that I don't have a team and I don't have a label, it's time to dive into lyricism a little bit more and let the sound become the lyricism. The lyricism is the sound. And we've been rocking hard ever since. And, you know, to get into that zone, I have to tap into like, what do people want to hear? What they want to hear this, they want to hear these bars. They want to hear me talk about my life. They want to hear me talk about, you know, my love life. They want to hear me talk about my son. They want to hear me talk about my money problems and money highs, right? We all have money problems, and when we get the check, we just have a great time. We know what to do. So it's like, let's talk about all of this and let's compile it into these stanzas of bars that just, they sound good every single time. We're gonna talk about everything.
Every single time. Yo, every time I hear you, I'm like, I have to rewind it, like, wait a minute, what did he say there?
Yeah, it's a lot of those. That's what the English language does, though, and I'm just happy that, you know, I'm able to tap into that.
Oh, I love that. For the art and the culture, yo, for the love of it, this is what I'm saying right here. All right, now talk to us about Battle Royale and what was happening there. Talk to us about that.
Well, in terms of battle rap, I feel like, you know, it was a part of my legacy to do. Like, I feel like hip hop, when it comes to hip hop now, like, you got MCing, you got DJing, you got breakdancing, you got graffiti. You know, I did graffiti. I tried to do breakdancing. I wasn't good at it. I tried to DJ, couldn't get good at it. So I just did MCing and graffiti. And I feel like battling is also a part of hip hop. So I wanted to have that as a part of my legacy. And, you know, it's a different transition from making music. Music, you're confined to a beat and you have to stay within these formatted 4-bar stanzas. Whereas battle rap, it's more entertainment and more about capturing a person's ear right then and there. So it's visceral live performing that you've never done before. So it's kind of like Broadway, but Broadway, they do it over and over and over. This is one time only. You got to get it right. This one time, no mess ups, no slip ups, and you got to be entertaining.
I love the way you broke that down, because I don't think people actually ever really put that into perspective. They think it's something that's so much fun to artists or, you know, to a battle rapper that there's no science that goes behind this.
It's tough. And I was able to do it 3 times and I had fun each time doing it. So I'm hoping, you know, I'm gonna do it one more time and hang up the jersey and not do that ever again. That's what these guys do. They're amazing at what they do.
Man, again, a whole nother art.
Whole nother art form.
So now we're gonna fast forward to the now.
Yeah.
The real now.
The real now.
So you have Wraith recording this, and let's be clear. Mickey Fax for a reason, right? Because you're good with so many in the industry you've worked for. You've done, oh my goodness, endless. So talk to us about this. Because, I mean, the lyrical was, again, this was something I was like, okay, wait, we gotta pause and listen to it slower.
Right. That was just something that happened off of the live that I had with him and Joe Budden and 3 Letter Man. And I just felt like I needed to respond. You know, that's it. I didn't think too much of it. Like, I just felt like I needed to say something at that point. And, I think my point came across pretty well. As far as me and Royce, the last time we spoke was after the song dropped. We talked about it on live. We was yelling at each other and we was laughing.
But again, it's for the hip hop culture, right?
I mean,
Let's get it out.
for me, it was for hip hop. But he said he's not gonna respond, so I'm kind of over it at this point. So it's like, okay, that happened. It was a moment in time. People enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was, and now we move forward.
No, honestly, we really did enjoy it. For whatever it is, this keeps the culture. It keeps us new. It keeps it going. It gives it the word culture. You know what I'm saying? It gives it that sazon and that.
I agree. I completely agree. I thought it was dope. And I was hoping for a response, but other people, I guess he didn't want to, so it's all good.
All right. So let's get into the relationship we have with Lupe Fiasco,
Right.
and him naming you a part of his all-city chess supergroup, chess club supergroup.
Yeah. Again, this is this is one of those things where it's like living in the moment, right? Somebody who came out 3 years before me and saw a high level of success, and me running into him in 2007 and saying one day we're gonna work together. And a lot of times artists say that to each other, and he didn't know who I was at the time. And fast forward 2 years after that, we're both touring in Japan. That was the next time we actually saw each other. And building this relationship from that point forward, right? Like just constantly, he would come in, check in and see what I'm doing. I'm obviously watching what he's doing from where I am. He put out the cool, so he's climbing the ranks of being this classic hip hop artist.
I love this for you. I'm all smiles because this is like,
You know what I'm saying?
this is like written in the stars for you.
Right. So then, he adds me to All City Chess Club, and it's like, okay, this is dope. And then, we start touring together, and then, I start putting music out that he's just becomes a big fan and supporter of. And then, he starts hearing more and more and more of stuff that I'm doing. And he just says, yo, Mickey does things that I can't do. He's in my top 8 rappers. And it's just like, what? You know what I'm saying? And he be saying like there's things that Mickey does that I just can't do. And it's just like, what? Like a lot of people have him in a high regard in terms of lyricism.
Right.
And he
and just in the art itself. Because for me, it's the art itself. You know what I'm saying?
And just the fact that he just puts me in that category, right? And this brotherhood that him and I have, where it's like, I think he might be like a couple months older than me, but he calls me his little big brother / big little brother and vice versa. So at times I'm the big brother, at times he's the little brother, so, we just hold each other accountable. We make sure that, we're always getting on each other, joking on each other, but it's all in the spirit and love of hip hop. And I would have never thought I would have had such a close friendship with somebody in the industry like I do with someone who is as successful, as talented and accomplished as Lupe is. But I'm very grateful for our relationship. I'm glad that I can call on him and ask for advice and vice versa. And we could swap rhymes and hear what he got, hear what I got. It's just, I couldn't ask for anything else.
Give us a story. One story with you and Lupe. One little scenario so we can get the feel. Because honestly, it's very deserving. You deserve this.
Yeah.
The years you've put in, the way you've stood true to your art.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Your definition of hip hop. Because we all have a different definition of hip hop, and that's okay. Because it's a culture. That's what makes it a culture, right?
Right.
But you stood so true. So I feel like you deserve this. You deserve these moments right here.
It's a lot of love, man.
We have a Street Fighter rivalry.
I love it.
So the last time we played Street Fighter, the first time we played Street Fighter, I was trying to play him in Japan, but I had to fly to LA, so I couldn't get to play him in Japan. So we finally get a chance to play Street Fighter at Harvard University in Boston. We had to talk to some kids, and talk to the hip hop scholar, you know, the university over there, the fellows. And I whip him. I beat him bad in Street Fighter on his tour bus. And he's like, yo, I'm gonna get you back. So I think we're in Denver. So we have a show in Denver and we go to a real arcade and he busses me up bad. He beats me bad in Street Fighter. And then, you know, then we go to his crib. We play Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 4. He beats me bad in 5. I beat him really bad in 4. So we got this rivalry. Anytime we together and
That's bomb.
we gotta go at it. So that's one of the things that we share.
You guys ever did the one in Canal? The
No.
arcade in Canal?
But we might when, because me and him have a show. We have 2 shows in New York, December 29th, December 30th. Make sure you guys pull up. And we might have to go to Canal Street. I might have to get some revenge and vice versa.
Yes, you
You know what I'm
must.
saying? It has to happen like that. Word.
So fire. Your whole little arcade, Street Fighters, Lupe Fiasco.
It's beef, nigga. It's beef. Wait till I see you again in that Street Fighter street.
So now we have the Narrative EP
Yes.
with Blue.
Yeah. Double XL alumni.
Ah, look at that. Producer Knots.
Yes. Yes.
Come on, please be so precise with the story behind this and how it came about, and because this is fire.
Thank you. Thank you. Well,
Truly enjoy it.
We was on tour. We was driving from one city to the next. I believe we was driving from Kansas City to Iowa.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, Blue, we need to do a project. And he was like, all right. I was like, yeah, you know, we got to do it. We got to get the producer. You know what I'm saying? It got to be crazy. He was like, all right. You know what I'm saying? He just, you know, that's Blue. He's
And here we go again. You just told us a story that you said, we got to do a project. And you say that, and it's like, all right, we'll come back to it eventually, right?
Yeah, and we made it happen 2 years later. So we started recording it during the pandemic. And we felt Knots would be the perfect fit because we both had albums with Knots. And we finished it in like a month, and we just was trying to figure out who we wanted to get on the project. And once we got all of the features in, it became this beautiful EP that hip hop they just love this thing, man. And I'm just happy.
So hip hop.
Yeah. I'm just happy that people are still tapping in, you know what I'm saying? And you know, crack top 10 iTunes, which was a big thing for me, and for Blue as well, and it just felt right, you know what I'm saying? And you know, me and him going back and forth, bouncing lyrics off, and you know, it wasn't a competition, it was just art, you know, because I'm this Bronx master lyricist and he's this Californian poet, and it just worked well, the yin and the yang.
Oh man, and I'm telling you, we're taking to it so well.
Yeah, make sure you guys go pick that up. It's still out right now, the Narrative EP.
I'm so excited for you. I mean, the growth is if you could give one word to the kind of growth from 2007, or maybe a sentence, could you put that into a sentence and where you are right now?
I mean, in 2007, I was very rambunctious. I had a very big ego. It was youthful lust, youthful energy.
But I must say, I never bumped into you. When I met you, I never got that push away, I'm too good, never.
Because you're a woman. And you know, when you're around beautiful women, you gotta be smooth as ever. You know what I'm saying? So she never really saw that side of me. But I was really out here wilding. And wilding. And when I came back after I quit, I decided to kind of mellow out and be a little smoother, be more humble about my approach, because it is a privilege to be a part of the culture. So, you know, if anything, I believe my growth was like a roller coaster, right? It was a shot up after Heaven's Fallout, being co-signed by Pharrell and you know, being in every magazine and just doing all this stuff, you know, getting a record deal, car commercials, BT ciphers.
It's insane for you, man.
106 in Park, ghostwriting.
But I feel like you're back at that now.
Yeah, but then
I
it
feel
dipped.
like life was,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
full circle.
So, yeah, so it was up, down, and then now
That's right.
it's up. It's up now. It's up and it's stuck. And I feel like,
Slid that in there nicely.
it's stuck now because I know what to do now. And
that's the point of it, right? That's the
Yeah.
point of learning your lessons, going through what you have to go through to perfect it in the end.
right. And I'm just happy that people recognize that, I've been here for a while. Today, I didn't even realize today was 11 years since I put out I'm Better Than You, that mixtape. You know what I'm saying? Like 11 years today. And, I went on 106 in Park 11 years today for the first time, right? Premiere my song with Premiere Paradise on television.
We need another 106 in Park. What's up with that, right?
Yeah, do people
For the
even watch TV?
culture.
Why don't you do it?
Hear that? You hear that? Let's see. But we're missing that aspect, honestly, where we break through songs and, back to that era of DJs are always doing it. DJs will forever, thank you DJs, because y'all will forever be the gatekeepers when it comes to breaking music, right?
Right. I think you need to find a DJ. I think you need to find a male co-host. I think you need to reach out to 50. Yo, Fifth, put Jacina on Stars. We need another 106 in Park. Get it started. Take it from the light out of the dark. And do it from the heart, because it's all about the art.
Wow, you see what I mean off the top?
That's off the top. This is 50.
Talking about
this
50.
is Mickey. All right, my fault.
Talking about 50.
Right.
I mean, he's paved the way. He's been from entrepreneur to producer now to, he's doing a lot, right?
Right.
We were just a little while ago talking about power.
Right.
We were both sad about Ghost because I got to express this to 50. I was like, once Ghost died, it was big for me.
Right.
But then he reeled me in with everything else. What do you think about 50 and his legacy and where it's at right now? What can you take from that too?
Let me tell a story about 50. I've never told this story. So, the very first time that I did This Is 50, or maybe it was like the second time, I was signed to Jive Records, and 50 was actually there. And I got to meet 50 Cent. And we're both cancers. So, we run the world, man. That's a completely different story, though. So, I do the interview and I get to meet 50, and we have this conversation about clothing. Mind you, at this time, he's still doing G Unit clothing. And he's like, you know what I'm saying? We could do like a merch situation with G Unit and Mickey Fax, and because at that time I was supered out. Yes. I'm always fly, skinny jeans, streetwear. That was me, and for him to have that foresight to reach out to me to do that, I really was scared. Again, it was like, this is 50 Cent. This is someone who's a powerhouse, who's a mogul. I wouldn't know what to do joining forces with this man, and that was one of those scenarios where I dropped the ball. But it was just me being able to be in his presence and him even offering an opportunity like that let me know at that time that I was on the right path, because he's an extremely intelligent businessman and one of the greatest artists that hip hop has ever, came across. And now he's into movies and TV, and he's just becoming this person that, artists such as myself still look up to and be like, man, you did that. You know what I'm saying? You put out classic albums, now you're doing classic business deals. This is somebody who came from nothing and has created a whole media conglomerate, right? And, it's something to look forward to as I venture into my next phase of my life.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yo, I don't want to stop talking. But this is going to be 2 hours, and they're going to be like, Jacina, you overdid it. Now we got to cut everything out.
Right.
Yo, Mickey, I'm proud of you again. This is friend to friend, y'all. I'm not saying I'm proud of him like, oh, who is Jacina to be saying, listen, friend to friend, I'm proud of you. And thank you for not giving up on your art and for sticking to it. And here we are.
Yeah, here we are. You're still here too. The
Yes.
fact that you're still here, alive and kicking, lets me know that I have to keep going. And I hope that we can continuously inspire each other to take it to the next level.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And life keeps bringing this full circle, man. From 2007, we met again in 2015 or something like that.
Yep.
And we're here again. Yo, nothing but love.
Nothing but love.
This is 50. Jacina Love, Mickey Facts.
Smicky.
We out.